Caitlin Clark, the only WNBA player receiving over 500,000 fan votes for the WNBA All-Star game. Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, the Fever 4, sitting in the top 10 when it comes to WNBA fan voting for the All-Star game.
What happens when fan voting skyrockets from under 100,000 to over 515,000 for just one player? You get Caitlin Clark completely taking over the 2025 WNBA All-Star voting, but the real headline isn't just Clark at the top, it's the Indiana Fever placing 4 of their stars in the top 10. Meanwhile, Angel Reese, who once confidently claimed that fans tune in to watch her too, is noticeably absent from the list. With the 2025 All-Star Game set to take place in Indianapolis, the Fever have made one thing clear: they run their city. If you're backing the Fever, cast your vote and drop Fever Fab 4 inches in the comments. Let's go.
Every chance the Indiana Fever fans, every chance Caitlin Clark fans, every time they have a chance to show up, they show out. Every time they have an opportunity to support, not only do they support, they go above and beyond when it comes to attendance, when it comes to viewership, when it comes to merchandise, and now clearly, as it's always been clear, the extracurricular activities, the add-ons, the plus ones, this would really help us. This would really help you. Say no more. Please, let's try to get these girls in the, this is what you want? Say no more. And the Indiana Fever fans did exactly.
Let's take a moment to remember what WNBA All-Star voting looked like before Caitlin Clark came onto the scene. Just 2 years ago, the league's biggest names were locked in intense battles for fan support. Every single vote counted, and the race was incredibly close. The margins were tight, and no one could afford to take the spotlight for granted.
Caitlin Clark's leading, and we've got 4 Indiana Fever players in the top 10, which I think can be expected considering where it is that the game is being played. So I will give people a lot of credit. I think a lot of people, it looks like, voted based on basketball for the most part. And there's a supposed, people keep telling me, supposed second most popular player in the league. That doesn't look like the second most popular player at all.
Here's where it gets interesting. In 2023, not a single WNBA player reached 100,000 votes in All-Star voting. Not one. The entire voting process was contained within a much smaller bubble of dedicated fans. Only 8 players managed to cross the 50,000 vote threshold. These were respectable numbers for the league at that time, but they show you exactly how different the landscape was. First
returns for the WNBA All-Star voting when it comes to the fan vote. Caitlin Clark, number 1, absolutely no surprise. The biggest, the best, the most noticeable, the face of the WNBA. If you had any questions about the face of the WNBA, look at that graphic right there. That's called the face of the league.
Fast forward to 2025, and Clark just obliterated those numbers. She pulled in 515,993 votes. In the first round alone, that's more than 5 times what the top vote-getter managed in the entire 2023 process. Clark didn't just win the voting, she redefined what winning looks like in WNBA fan engagement. But that's not all. Clark's impact created a ripple effect across the entire league this year. 19 different players crossed that 100,000 vote mark that nobody hit in 2023. The fan base expanded dramatically. More people are paying attention to women's basketball than ever before. Clark's star power lifted the entire sport.
Clark garnered 515,993 votes over the first week of fan voting. She's the only player to eclipse 500,000. Nafisi Collier, who is probably the leader of the MVP pack right now, is at 485,000. Aaliyah Boston is third, 447,000, as she should be.
If you really want to grasp what these numbers represent, consider this. Caitlin Clark's 515,993 votes signal a turning point in how fans engage with the WNBA. This isn't about casual clicks or one-time support. It's a wave of dedicated fans showing up with purpose. Her level of support highlights a bigger truth: women's basketball has officially entered the mainstream sports conversation. When you stack Clark's vote totals against those from long-established leagues, the comparison is striking. She's drawing the kind of attention and loyalty that most athletes spend years trying to build, and she's done it in under 2 seasons.
Nafisi Collier, number 2. Aaliyah Boston, number 3. Asia Wilson, number 4. Brianna Stewart, number 5. Paige, Kiki Iriafen, 2 rookies in the top 10. And we got Kelsey Mitchell, 7. Sabrina, 8. And Lexi whole nine. We got 2 rookies. We got 4 Fever players. We got 2 Liberty players. We got Nafisa Collier, a top 2 player in the league right now, arguably the best. And we got the Asia Wilson conglomerate continues to show up for their girl.
Nafisa Collier holds second place in All-Star voting with 484,758 votes, a figure that would have shattered records just 2 years ago. The fact that this massive total is only good enough for second place speaks volumes about how Caitlin Clark has completely reshaped the voting landscape. Every player in this year's top 10 received vote totals that would have easily led the pack in previous seasons. But Clark's influence isn't limited to fan voting. Her on-court performance, averaging 19.9 points and 8.7 assists per game, proves she's earning that support with real impact. This isn't just a case of lingering college hype. Clark is performing at an elite level, night after night. Attendance spikes when she plays. Viewership rises wherever she goes. Simply put, she's bringing a level of attention and energy to the WNBA that the league has never seen before.
Not everybody's conglomerate is showing up for their girl. Not everybody's pieces are showing up for their girl. Not everybody's stands are showing up for their girl. Caitlin Clark, 500,000. Aaliyah Boston, like we said. When we start jumping out of the top 10, we got Kelsey Plum, okay. Satu Sabali, 2. And then we got Angel Reese at 13 when it comes to WNBA fan voting. Angel Reese and the Reese's Pieces continue to have more Twitter fingers than actual act.
The system itself had to evolve to keep up with the overwhelming surge in fan participation. What once worked for 50,000 votes was suddenly being asked to handle numbers 10 times that size. Caitlin Clark's rise in popularity didn't just push the limits. It forced the WNBA to upgrade its entire fan engagement infrastructure. Her record-shattering performance in All-Star voting represents more than personal success. Clark has redefined what star power looks like in the WNBA going forward. Her 2025 numbers will become the benchmark for every future voting cycle. She didn't just break the mold, she created a brand new standard, and her impact didn't stop there. Clark's dominance also sparked something extraordinary for the Indiana Fever franchise, transforming them into a team at the center of a league-wide movement.
Second straight year that Clark has led the fan voting. She was second in early returns in fan voting in 2024, but jumped to first with around 700,000 total votes by the end of the period. So I'm wondering, are we going to see 1 million votes this time? Because I saw somebody earlier that said, so far, voting is actually way up versus exactly where we was at this time last year.
Here's where things get really interesting. One superstar can transform a franchise, but can that same star elevate an entire team into all-star territory? That's exactly what unfolded with the Indiana Fever this year. All-star voting is usually a mixed bag, with votes spread across the league's various teams and markets. The biggest names from powerhouse franchises like Las Vegas, New York, and Seattle typically dominate the top spots. Smaller market teams are lucky to get one player into the All-Star conversation, 2 at most. It's rare to see more than a couple of players from the same roster break into the top 10. That's just the reality when fan attention is divided across 12 different cities.
Something that I want to talk about. On the left side of your screen, we're seeing the 2025 numbers, and then, boom. On the right side of your screen, you're seeing the 2024 numbers. Arike Ongumbowale went from a top 5 vote getter to all the way down to 34th. The jig is up. The jig is up, Arike. You have been found out.
The question everyone was asking was simple. Could Clark's teammates ride her massive wave of popularity? Would Fever fans show up for the entire roster, or just their superstar point guard? The early voting numbers kept people guessing about whether this would be Clark's individual moment, or something bigger for the franchise. Then the full voting results dropped and shocked everyone. Aaliyah Boston sits in 3rd place with her own massive vote total, not 5th or 6th place, where you might expect a solid teammate to land 3rd place in the entire WNBA. Boston's 361,018 votes would have easily won All-Star voting in previous years. She's not just along for the ride, she's earned her spot through her own outstanding play and fan support.
Kelsey Mitchell, of course, Indiana, 277,000. Lexi Hall, 217,000. And there is Kiki Arifin, 213,500. She's averaging a double-double, a legit double-double, with a good field goal percentage. Caitlin Clark has 3 times the amount of votes. 3 times the amount of votes as Angel. So there you go. I suspect Sophie Cunningham's numbers are going to grow after what we've seen. Somebody said, I saw some things online about they sold $1 million worth of Sophie Cunningham jerseys, and something in the neighborhood of 12,000 all went out in one day, or all got bought at one day, and it jacked up the Indiana Fever system, this, that, and the other. By the way, the Slows are pissed off about Sophie even being on this list. Sophie Cunningham has got 95,116 votes as of right now. I'm going to be very interested. As of right now, I don't know if they will technically take the top. There's 24 spots. So I don't know if they're going to take the top 24. I'm assuming they will. But if they do, she would be on the All-Star team as of right now. Angel Reese. Well, wait a minute. I thought it was about you too. Everybody's watching because of me too. Except everybody's not watching because of you too. I mean, guys, if the ratings ain't enough and the attendance ain't enough and what happened at LSU ain't enough and all this other stuff ain't enough to tell you where Angel Reese's place is, well, it's 13th place. And I can tell you right now, Jonquel Jones ought to be ahead of her.
They continue to talk a good game instead of being about a good game. This is fan voting. This is literally vote for who you are a fan of. Vote for who you're a fan of, or vote for who you think is most worthy. Vote for who you're a fan of. Vote for who you think is most worthy. Vote for who you think are the stars in this league. Angel Reese fans, you guys aren't fans of her? You don't think she's most worthy? You don't think she's a star in this league?